Hello loves, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. Excuse the hat as it is a very dirty hair day. But I am really excited to be bringing this video to you guys. I am going really in depth, step by step on how to do an acrylic fill. I am showing both of my hands because I don't really do that, so I felt like I really needed to include this to give you guys a little bit more in-depth detail on exactly how I do my own nails, and just so you guys can kind of get an idea and maybe it'll help you guys do your own nails. That being said, I am announcing the winner to my last video's giveaway. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, make sure to subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you do not miss out. I insert giveaways randomly into my videos. Last video's giveaway was the biggest giveaway yet. If you guys are interested in knowing what those products are, make sure to check out my last video, as I mentioned all of them and they are all linked in the description box. That being said, our winner was chosen at complete random. I'm super excited to announce that our winner is Irene Beltran. Here she is. Thank you so much for all of those that entered this giveaway. You guys showed love in the comment section and I truly appreciate it. That being said, let's get right into the video. So here I'm just showing you my old design. Check out that video if you guys are interested on how I created that set. Going right into today's video, I am pushing back my cuticles. I have gotten really used to using my e-file for this step, but if you are a beginner, do highly recommend you guys use a cuticle pusher. This will help ensure really good application on the cuticle area. Once I'm done with that, I'm taking my safety carbide bit. You can find this on Amazon. I have them linked in my Amazon storefront if you guys are interested. These are really good for beginner nail techs as they have the rounded top and you will not hurt yourself if you get way too close to the skin. I do recommend you guys have it at about 8,000 RPMs on your e-file. That's what I keep mine at to remove any design or acrylic. Now if you are a little bit more comfortable, you can go higher on that speed, but I'm just lightly removing just the design off of the nails. And of course I'm going to be going in gently around the cuticle as well, and I am repeating that on the rest of the nails. So here I'm just taking my sanding band on my Mandrel bit, and then I'm going to be lightly going around the cuticle area. I keep my e-file when going on the natural nail at about 3,000 RPMs. I find that is the perfect speed for me. It's slow enough but fast enough to get the job done. So I'm just gently removing any lifting. I do have very minimal lifting because I try to prep my nails as best as I can. So I just had a little bit there and that's what I'm doing here, just removing that. I have a very in-depth video on my channel on how to use an e-file if you are a beginner nail tech and want to learn. I highly recommend you guys to check that out. I go really in depth and make sure I break it all the way down so you guys understand very well. Now, as you can see, I have a little bit of lifting on that nail, and I'm just going on the actual acrylic and lightly filing the acrylic to remove that. I'm trying to minimize the amount of filing that I do on the actual natural nail because we want to make sure that it is nice and healthy and we don't damage it. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that on the rest of the nails. Remember to be very gentle.
Now I am taking my needle bit. This is my best friend. I highly recommend it if you guys are looking for a good prep bit. This is it. It helps you get into all those hard to reach places. I know the Mandrel bit is pretty thick, so this does help a ton. As you can see, it's just removing any excess skin or cuticle from that area. You want to make sure everything is nice and removed in order for the acrylic to properly adhere. Now this is my other baby, my favorite cuticle bit. This is my bob bit. It comes in a pack of 3, including the needle bit, so highly recommend you guys check that out. I'm going gently around the cuticle area, and again, my e-file is still at about 3,000 RPMs. It's a perfect speed. You can go a little bit higher if you have stubborn cuticle, but all this does is removes the cuticle very gently, and as you can see, it is doing a really good job at that. I highly recommend these bits if you do not want to use a cuticle nipper like me. Obviously, make sure you are taking caution and doing this gently so you do not hurt yourself or the client. Now I'm cleansing my nails with some Swipe from Young Nails and a lint-free wipe. This helps remove any excess dust and particles from the surface to ensure no lifting. Now I am going in with my Protein Bond. This is a really good primer if you guys are looking for one. You can find it in the link down below in the description box, so make sure you are checking that out if you guys want to purchase any of the items mentioned in this video. You can do 2 coats and that will definitely ensure no lifting. Here I'm taking a very small bead of acrylic. I am placing that near the cuticle and then gently pushing it up into it and around to make sure that it is flawless on that nail. For this video, I am using my Sculpt It Like It's Hot in the number 6 from Profiles Backstage. That is my brush. And then I'm taking their acrylic monomer as well. So as you can see, I'm taking a small bead of acrylic, gently pushing it up, and then dragging the rest of the product down so it blends well with the existing acrylic. I'm just taking another bead. You want to also rebalance the nails if the shape kind of gets distortioned. I am just taking a few more beads and applying it there, making sure everything is nice and smooth on that nail. And then of course I'm going to be repeating that. I want to make sure that I am doing this very gently. If you are new, make sure you are placing your finger in a downward angle so you can apply it and it will run down instead of into the cuticle. A lot of people will hold the finger wrong, so it does cause flooding in the cuticle area, which causes lifting, and we do not want that. If you guys want the perfect powder to liquid ratio, I suggest you guys check out my video on that. I go super in depth and I've had a lot of positive feedback on that. So I do think it will help you guys if you guys need help in that area. Now I am moving on to my right hand. As you guys know, I'm right-handed, so I am doing this with my non-dominant hand. I am going in and pushing back the cuticle, and then instead of using an e-file on this hand, what I like to do is use my Tammy Taylor peel and stick file and file off any top coat design or whatever I have on that nail. Now if you have bigger embellishments like 3D art or crystals and stuff, then of course you will need kind of a more heavy duty process. So in that case, you would use a e-file. So as you can see, I'm holding the file more or less still, and then I'm moving my right hand, filing it in the motion that I want, in the angle that I want, just moving my right hand instead of really moving the hand file. Now I'm taking my sanding band once again and going gently around the cuticle area. As you can see how awkwardly I'm holding that handpiece. What I do is lightly tap it onto the nail and then I move it into the opposite direction that I'm going. So I do this very, very gently. I definitely take my time with it. I don't try to do it in a rush, as then I will definitely hurt myself. So just take it in tiny sections. Make sure you're not holding it in the same position too long, because that will cause damage to the nail and it will burn you. So just make sure you're moving constantly and it will do the trick. A lot of the time I don't show my right hand because I get way too into it, so I forget to stay in frame. I do apologize in advance because I do get out of frame just a little bit on some areas. For the most part, I only get lifting on whichever finger I use the most. Like for example, my middle finger on my right hand is the one that I use to hold my e-file. So I'll get lifting on that one. And then my pointer finger on my left hand, that one's a problem nail as well. I guess I just use those the most. So now I'm using my needle bit once again and prepping that nail. Very, very gently going around it. If you need to rest it down, that helps a lot. You know, with your clients, you're able to use your hand to kind of move the finger, but when it's your own hands, it's kind of really hard. So I do suggest you rest it on something, and that will make your life a lot easier. Now, of course, going in with my ball bit once again, I'm going in and rubbing off any excess skin that I need off of the cuticle area. Remember to do this very, very gently. Take your time with it. Do not rush, as you can hurt yourself. I am placing some protein bond. Of course, I did clean that hand. I just didn't show it on camera. Now, as you can see, I lift my bead with my right hand, move it to my left hand, and then I place it with my left hand. I'm doing the exact same thing that I did onto my left hand. Placing that bead gently on to the cuticle area, pushing it up into the cuticle, and then dragging it out towards the sides. Of course, be very, very careful. If you do have any spillage or leakage into the cuticle area, just clean it up very quickly and you should be good to go. The faster you work, the better it's going to look, only because the cuticle area is so precise. So if you wait too long and you add too much liquid, it's going to run all over the place. I'm just adding a little bit more acrylic wherever I need to add it, and then I'm going to be finishing off these nails, and then we will be moving on to filing. Now going into filing, I'm using this bit from Not Polish. It is from their combo number 2. I use this in the cuticle area. It is bomb for that. You want the acrylic to be nice and flush to the natural nail, as this will minimize lifting. So I do highly recommend you do that. If you have it way too bulky in that area, it can cause snagging, which leads to lifting. So make sure you guys are doing this. You can also do it with a sanding band if you are gentle. This one is just a lot easier because it has the rounded tip. I am repeating that onto my right hand, doing this a lot slower and a lot more gentle so I don't hurt myself. This is a pretty safe bit, but that doesn't mean you can't hurt yourself, so always be mindful and be careful. I'm just gonna go ahead and place my hand on that jar of acrylic just to stabilize my hand so I have full control of it. Now, because I am doing very minimal amount of filing as the majority of the nail was already pre-shaped for my previous set, I'm just going in with my sanding band and lightly blending both together and making sure that it's nice and flush to the rest of the nail. The sanding band for me kind of reminds me of a hand file. The grit is obviously exactly the same, so I like that about it, and that's why I use it for finish filing sometimes, because it just gives it a more smooth look in my opinion. And I do have this at about 7,000 RPMs. I'm using my Tammy Taylor peel and stick file, and I'm going to be shaping the nails, making sure everything is nice and straight. We want that perfect shape, so highly recommend these files if you guys are looking for new ones. They are nice and sturdy and absolutely help a ton. Now I'm taking my sponge buffer from Profiles Backstage, and of course I'm going to be smoothing out the surface of all of my nails, making sure it is perfect to go for my nail art that I'm going to be doing. You want a very smooth surface so everything applies perfectly. I'm cleansing the surface of the nails once again with a lint-free wipe and some swipe, making sure all the dust is removed for our nail art. Now I'm going right into our nail art. I'm using my 3D nail art brush and applying some jewelry gel on the tip of the nail and kind of dragging it upwards. The reason why I'm doing this is because it is a crystal gel and it is going to hold my glitter on there perfectly the entire time, and it's thick enough for the glitter to kind of seep into it. It ensures all of the sides to be nice and flat on the surface of the nail. I'm putting in this chunky glitter from Profiles Backstage. This was from their summer collection. I've mentioned it before in my videos. Link will be in the description box, but I'm just using my wax crystal picker, whatever tool it's called, and I'm applying those on there. I'm going to be using this as a base for my honeycomb design. Cure that in the light, and then we are going on to our ring finger. I'm going to be doing like a honey drip kind of look, so I am using this freaking amazing yellow from Not Polish, and I am placing it on the nail in a drip design. So what I like to do is just place a little bead of acrylic, drag it down, and then kind of blend it up towards the cuticle, making sure it kind of looks like a drip. So the key to doing this design is definitely having a more wet bead. So instead of wiping the acrylic monomer off of your brush, leave it on there and pat down the design to where you want it, and then you can wipe your brush. Now I'm going back to my pinky and I'm going to be top coating that nail. I am doing this because I want the surface that I'm going to be drawing on to be very smooth, and if I just did it over top of the glitter, it wasn't going to work. So I'm putting a layer of top coat, and then I'm going in with my black gel paint and a very small liner brush and just outlining each one of those chunky glitters. It was just kind of tedious, and I was like holding my breath the entire time, making sure that I wasn't going to mess up. Now that I'm done, I'm moving on to my middle finger. I am drawing this like geometric sort of, at least that's what I was trying to aim for. My husband found this photo online and I figured I would give it a go. I'm going in and just drawing the outline first of the body, and then I'm going in and just drawing the stripes on it. Like I said, this is geometric, so I'm making sure everything is definitely more squared off than round. Don't forget to check out all my other videos. I have very in-depth details on every single one. I like to change up the advice that I give you guys on every single one of my videos. I know I have a lot now, but I do recommend you guys check them out if you guys get a chance to. I do love giving you guys tips and tricks that have helped me in my nail career. And now I'm just adding the rest of the little body. I do apologize for kind of getting the focus on my hand rather than on my nail. It kind of was hard to not get in the way of the camera whenever I was doing this. I get really into my nail art and I forget I'm filming sometimes, so I do apologize for that. So then I'm just going in and drawing in the little head. Again, making sure everything is squared off and not round. And now I'm adding the little eyes. And then the little antennas. Now for our wings, I definitely do think that this was like the highlight of the geometric look because it has a lot more detail and the design is a lot more noticeable in the wings. I did really like the turnout of these. Definitely looks a lot more of a wasp than a bee, but I really liked it, so I had to add it on here. And of course I had to add some yellow in there, so I'm just adding that onto the body of the bee. Making sure I'm filling it in very gently so it doesn't get on any of the black area. The gel paint does create kind of a little bit of a 3D effect, so it helps for the gel not to run. And then I did go in and add just a little bit more black to that. I thought it didn't look quite right, so I gave it my own twist to it, and it definitely helped the look for sure. Now I'm going in with my matted top coat from Not Polish, and of course I'm going to be top coating these nails. So a lot of the time you can top coat before you do 3D nail art, but I feel like if it were to stain the top coat while I'm working with it, because a lot of the time I do wipe any excess acrylic off with my brush, I wouldn't want it to stain the top coat yellow. Now I'm taking my 3D nail art brush and kind of moving it into those harder to reach areas, and that cures everything. You don't have to be too worried about it because I'm also going in with my shiny top coat afterwards. Going in with my shiny top coat, this is the Gloss It from Not Polish, and I'm gently applying that on the drips. I wanted them to be shiny, so I'm doing this very, very gently. And of course, I am popping that back into the light once I'm done. I'm leaving it in there for a full 2 minutes because I like to make sure everything is nice and cured, fully sealed onto the nail. And that basically concludes this video. Do not forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do not forget to turn on your post notifications so you do not miss out on future content. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you guys next time.